This is No Password Required, a Cyber Florida podcast presented by ThreatLocker.
Welcome to No Password Required. I'm your host, Jack Clabby. I'm a cybersecurity attorney at Carlton Fields here in Tampa, Florida. With me, as always,
I'm Kayley Melton, the Director of Community Programs and Events for the Cognitive Security Institute, and of course, the Bob Ross of InfoSec.
And we are coming to you from Tampa B-Sides. We're here at the University of South Florida's campus in the Student Center, and it is an awesome day. Before we introduce our guest, I just want to say a quick thank you to ThreatLocker. Their support to the podcast and to the programming here makes these kinds of conversations possible. So thank you to ThreatLocker. All right, so today we're chatting with Mudita Khurana. She's a tech lead at Airbnb. Mudita, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Can you tell us a little bit about what it is that you do?
Sure, yeah. So like you said, my name is Mudita Khurana. I have spent about 10 years in the security industry. I started as a security analyst back in India. So my journey into security actually happened very much by chance, but cut short to a few years later, I found myself doing, AppSec security engineer things at Meta. I also did a brief stint as a manager, but now then I changed my jobs to be a TL. I'm now, I came back to an IC world and I'm a TL for automated tooling and vulnerability management at Airbnb, where I've been for the last 11-ish months.
And did you start out in computer science? Is that the original? How did, were you always into computers and tech? What drew you to computer science?
Absolutely not. So I actually come from a family of doctors. So I am the odd one out in the family who decided to, it was more of a rebellious move against my parents to be like, I want to set my own identity. I will not do medical science. I will do something else. And I ended up choosing computer science because that just made sense. That was the second best
still
thing.
Has science in the word.
Exactly. Yeah. So I did that, but I'll be honest, it was not something that I really wanted to do. I wasn't always passionate about it. But I think the more time I spent there, it stuck with me, and mostly because of two things. So I was always very much into psychology. I wanted to do behavior science. But I think I realized that a little too late, just like how it happens in your late teenage when you're figuring out who you are and what you want to do. So two things that stood out for security for me was, one was good mentorship. I had the opportunity of having really good mentors like Vandana Verma. So she's a big InfoSec person in the community. She's a big voice. And then secondly, I feel like security as a field is so different from just normal computer science and coding and software engineering. It actually, you don't necessarily need to be very good at computer science. I think my behavioral itch got pretty much satisfied after I spent some time with security, and I realized that I can still think of more systems and why behavior behind why something happens, right? Why do breaches happen? Why do people click that phishing link and so on? So yeah, still here 10-12 years later, so it's going good.
How did you connect with Vandana in the first place, and how important was it for you to be able to work with her?
Yeah, I think it was very important. Again, like I said, I was still figuring out what I want to do, right? I ended up taking a job, but I still wasn't sure if this is it for me. So having someone like her who was so passionate about security, she was curious. I think her energy really rubbed off on me, and I remember going out of my way to get projects, like more projects. So I was in Accenture, which is more a consulting type of company, right? So you have mini projects, and I went out of the way to keep getting projects with her, just so I can keep learning from her. And I think it was definitely a good learning experience. And ultimately, I ended up doing more, actual masters in security and just like learning more because that curiosity kept going up.
When you were doing the consulting side of things, were you doing that 4-day-a-week travel? Were you on the road a lot? Okay.
So in India, it is more off-site. Like it's not you're not the consultant. You do the back-end kind of jobs. So yeah, we didn't have to travel. So but that was good.
Very cool. Now, sometimes folks in the industry talk about imposter syndrome. Are you established enough now, confident enough? Do you ever have those moments like, what am I doing here? Do I belong?
Yeah, I don't think I'm an exception. I think like imposter syndrome, it was definitely more early on, I think, but I still have it. Like I think, especially with AI throwing new curveballs at us, there are still days where like, I have no idea what I'm doing, like how do you handle this? But I think what has changed is my relationship with that imposter syndrome feeling. Early on, I used to feel, that really takes you down and it's like a negative feeling. I don't look at it negatively anymore. I like to think that that's an opportunity to grow, because that just means you're being challenged, right? You're being a little stretched a little bit farther than you know. And I've learned how to rely on my peers more in such a state, right? Ask the noob questions, be dumb, it's okay. Like, ask and say, hey, I don't know this, can you help me? And this has also helped me be a little more empathetic. Like when I can see someone else is having that same bad day, you lean a little bit more and, you help out and you help them and be like, it's okay. Like nobody knows everything. It's all good.
I like that when I finally learned to flip the switch to say, just ask the dumb question, because probably other people also in the room with you don't know the darn answer too.
Yes. I remember when I was in college or something, everybody used to say that, just ask. Like other people are also thinking, but I think you don't quite understand that until you ask. And then you see people nod and you're like, they have the same question. Yeah.
Then you're like, all right, I made a friend. I asked that lady over there was like, all right, she's like, I had the same darn question. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
I like it.
So following your undergrad work in India at the Indraprastha Institute of Information Technology, you were accepted into Carnegie Mellon. Can you talk a little bit about how that opportunity shaped your path?
Like, it was one of the biggest, pivotal moments in my life, I would say. I mean, other than the fact that CMU is such a great school and all of that, like I said, I did not have any background in security, right? Of course, I worked on a few projects, but I wanted to learn more. So CMU gave me that technical background, right? I did not do CTFs, no hacking, no nothing. But then I come here and, I get the opportunity to do all of that. And then also learn about other facets of security, right? I did a lot of vulnerability management and more AppSec-y things. But then here I am also learning about networking, packet inspection, risk management, policy, the legality of cybersecurity and all of that. So it was a great experience. And I think two other things that it also gave me are just how to approach a problem, right? Just general problem solving, which I feel like I use a lot with my toddler now. So, that's good. And then the other thing is being an international student, right? When you come to a new country, right? Of course, there's a culture shock. There's a little bit of hey, I want to find myself. And CMU being such a diverse place and they're so welcoming that I felt like I could find myself, right? I took that time, but I could find my voice, I could find my people, and I could ease into this world. Yeah, so it definitely helped.
Yeah. For a lot of people, CMU would be a lock, but for you, it turned out to be a bold pivot. Can you talk a little bit about what it was like turning down an offer after you had already accepted it?
Yeah, so I interned at PwC during my time at CMU and got a return offer. Of course, took it. It felt like a stable, very nice path. I mean, PwC is great. And again, I had done Accenture, so I knew a little bit about the consulting world. But then a couple of weeks later, I met some of my undergrad friends. They had come to the US a few years before me, and they had established jobs. Most of them were working for big tech companies like Facebook, Uber, Apple. And a part of me almost asked the question, if they can do it, why can't I? I almost had the same kind of, educational background as them. We were literally in the same class. So I
it's
decided,
like reverse imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
I know these guys. How it's going to be.
So I decided to push myself just a little more and, not be just, not just be okay that I have a job and I don't need to work on interviews anymore. So I kept interviewing for big tech. I kept studying more. And finally, a few weeks later, I got a job from Facebook to be an engineer in their product security team. But of course, there was a difficult decision I had to say no to, and commitment I had already made, which was not easy. But also, I felt like on the other side was a path that could maybe change my career in a very different way. So yeah, I decided to take that plunge, even though I didn't really like, kind of burning bridges with PwC. But hopefully, it's too long ago by now.
They're doing fine.
Yeah, they're doing fine. Exactly.
So you tried management, and then you moved back into an individual contributor role. What was that like?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I'm really thankful to anyone who gave me the management opportunity. I feel like just to be trusted with someone else's growth is really is a very it's an honorable thing according to me. And I've always been the kind of person who wanted to help others navigate a career and just be a friend and be a good listener. So just to have that as part of my job was a very good thing to have. But my shift back to an IC role was pretty much intentional because I realized I want to be close to the actual work, right? I want to be close to what's being built, especially these days. Like I feel like in my career, I might not get this point again where I can get to be so close to the work, to the craziness that AI is bringing, like how everything is being turned around by agents. So that was very intentional. And what it made me also realize was, career paths don't have to be linear. You don't have to have a linear ladder. You can jump around. It's about what muscle you really want to exercise, right? What do you want to grow, right? You want to grow your management muscle or you want to grow your technical muscle. And it just so happened that I wanted to come back to my technical muscle. And then maybe one day I'll manage agents, right? Because there'll be no more engineers to manage.
That's right.
Yeah.
What do you, I mean, you don't stop leading in a non-leadership title role. Like, what does that look like? How do you influence things?
Right. And I personally think like a lot of like leadership qualities, you do get them from IC roles too, right? It's not like they only come from management side. I think for me personally, I have like 3 big things which I feel like are good leadership qualities that at least I want to keep, working on. One is clarity, just being that person who can break down a messy, ambiguous problem into simple words, and not just word for your leadership, but also for some engineers, right, who don't quite come from the same background. The other one would probably be, just owning things, like being the person who just says, okay, I got it, right? Not because it's your job, but because it's motivating, right? Because it needs to be solved, just jumping on things, which doesn't matter if they're your responsibility or not. And then the third, I would say, is just consistency. I'm a very consistent person, maybe boring at times. I eat the same breakfast every day. I go to gym every day, even if I don't want to.
That's a very West Coast thing, breakfast every day and the gym.
Right.
Yeah, simplify your life.
But also, like even if, I go and I'm just like walking on a treadmill like I'm taking a stroll, all good. It's about showing up. So I try to bring that same energy to work, that it's about showing up, right? Like just being consistent so people can rely on you. And like, because ultimately leadership is all about, do people want to work with you or not? And if you're consistent, you're clear, and you're responsible, people would want to work.
It's that idea when someone says, I got this. Right? Exactly. That's the best thing when you're on a team and someone's like, I have this. Then let's say, who's got this? I've got this, right? Yeah. That's it. So you want.
Yeah. It's like being able to really trust that I got this means you do have this. So you've said that you're not a traditional hands-on keyboard type of engineer. When did you figure that out, and how did you find your place in such a highly technical field?
Yeah, I think I knew it even back in bachelor's when I was like, okay, I took computer science and here I am, but I don't know if this is for me, because I could see I don't like coding the way other people around me did. I didn't approach algorithms and all of that the way others around me did. But again, I stuck with it, right? And like I said, early on in my journey, just having good mentors and just being able to have that experience really helped. But why I'm still here is probably because I got to experiment a little bit, right? Like I got to management too, right? Like I tried a few things and I realized that this is fun, and I found my place. And especially security is great because there's no one clear way, right? You could break systems, you could also build systems securely, or you could be the person who connects those dots, right? So I think I found my way. I understood I really like strategic thinking and I like building tools securely. So I think that's the niche that I found, and hopefully that helps me. But I also realized being conventional in security is not really a disadvantage. Being unconventional in security is not really a disadvantage.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's a key piece to, I don't know why this field is so exciting and different from other things, Yeah. There's a place for every type of person here.
Agreed.
Yeah. So in your current role, what do the best days look like, and what makes a day frustrating?
I think the best days are the ones where you have to solve a new problem, be it like a new incident or like AI again throws a curveball at you, or like something happened and your attack surface is just completely changed and you're like, oops. And because I think it brings people together, you know what you have to solve. Decisions get made really fast, and there's just energy in the room that is addictive almost, right? And I think frustrating days would be exactly the opposite, where you know what you have to do, but you just get slowed down by like organizational friction or like misalignment or just policy. Because I think I'll speak for a lot of engineers when I say that sometimes that slowness is more draining than the problem itself, right? Like not being able to achieve what you want to achieve because of organizational like friction is more draining sometimes than solving the problem itself.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the excitement of launch, and then the excitement of ending. And then there's all those days in between where you're still chipping away at it, right? What you mentioned AI a couple times about what is it like to do this in the day of AI? You might build a solution, but then the problem you were solving goes away because of AI, or it's a problem now that's adjacent because AI came up with something crazy. Like, what is it like?
Yeah, it's crazy. I feel like every day we play catch up, and maybe those are the good days. But I'm with you, right? Like you don't want to build from an organizational perspective too. You don't want to spend resources and effort and money in building something that's going to not be useful 3 months down the line. So it's definitely an interesting space. I think the way at least I am approaching it is like building more abstracted modular systems, right? Almost like building layers, right? So instead of building something that's too tangled into the basics, right? Like too tangled into a particular model, for example, right? Or a particular technique, build layers, right? Layers that you can swap out more easily. So instead of okay, hey, this does not work anymore. Instead of spending 3 more months building something new, you spend maybe a week, right? Because you're just changing one layer at a time. So like more abstraction, more modularity, and like maybe focusing more on the basics than, hey, like the fancy features of like, hey, AI is now giving me fix suggestions. Let me, spend two months just doing that. No, like maybe take that as a layer, right? Like call that as an API that you can get rid of if it doesn't work anymore. So just more modular abstractions, I think.
How do you keep? Are you on Reddit? Are you looking at newspapers? Like, how do you keep up with what's happening in the world of AI?
And here's the funny thing too, and glad you asked that, because when I think about that, right, like I feel like it's hard, right? It's mostly, you could always go to Twitter, but there's so much noise. There's so much noise, right? Then you could go to like those vendors who are also posting about things online, but again, those are a little biased, right? They're mostly focusing on things that they can solve. Here's a problem that happened that my product solved. So I think it's a little bit of a team effort too, right? Where everyone brings in some information. I personally like to follow some thread feeds, right? And of course, we also have internally have ways that we try to gather this information around. But I think just like a sense of community, also having friends like yourselves, like just having people you follow on LinkedIn, not people who post for, just getting viewership, but people who you can actually again trust of okay, they're actually going to talk about some real things and start a conversation, not just for the sake of it, but because it is something to be talked about. So I think community really helps, and you're able to get some bias out.
The human being is still, I think, the greatest filter that we have. Hey, what is serious to you? Or I saw this thing. This looks pretty big. What am I missing? Yeah. No, I agree that's big, right? Like those kinds of conversations are still happening, thankfully, right? Well, we're going to take a short break now. When we return, we're going to go through the lifestyle polygraph. So stay with us.
You're listening to the No Password Required podcast. We cover cybersecurity and a lot of other stuff.
Welcome back. As many of you know, the lifestyle polygraph is the test used by the federal government to determine if a person is worthy of learning some of our nation's most important secrets. Here, though, we use this technique for only slightly lower stakes, to determine whether our guest can join our fantasy cybersecurity squad. Mudita, are you ready for the lifestyle polygraph?
Let's do it. Yes.
All right. Number 1, Marvel or Harry Potter universe? If you had to live in one, which are you choosing? And what role are you taking on in that world?
I like both, but I think Harry Potter wins by a lot. I think from a role perspective, probably Hermione. Like I can see I'm a little bit of a disciplinarian like her, and I like things done in a certain way. So I have that. I think I'm a little bit of Harry Potter too, but if I had to choose one, probably Hermione. Yeah, probably the one who's like, walk in a line, guys. Yeah, that's where you need to go. Yeah.
Access to magic, I think, would be pretty nice.
I
think it would be pretty nice. And Marvel there's a lot of adventures that happen in Marvel, but it feels like the chaotic events are so frequent that you couldn't just ever settle into it.
That's
Whereas
true.
like Harry Potter had its two
it's
big
predictable.
events.
Yeah, exactly.
And now everyone's kind of enjoying themselves in times of peace, right?
Yes. You can make some potions when you have to.
Yeah, exactly. If something bad happens, you can you can have an adventure. Then you can follow, you can go and see the Tri-Wizard Cup.
That's right. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So number 2, we typically ask this question about DC's Batman, but since we're going to switch it up a bit for Marvel, which hero in the Marvel universe do you think should not actually qualify as a superhero?
Okay, of course this is going to be controversial. I feel like no matter what name you give, but I think Deadpool. Like, he's funny.
Yes.
I give him that. He's funny, but he's not a superhero. Like, he works in chaos.
You're right.
You know what I mean? Like, and I'm a predictable person. I want predictability, and I feel like he's just the opposite of that. So, I always say Deadpool. You're funny, man. You're not a superhero.
Accidentally drawn in, reluctant, right? Accidentally, right? You want somebody who you got to, even Batman, like you put the bat signal up, Batman comes.
Sure. Yeah.
There is predictability.
Yeah.
Even if he doesn't have superpowers.
Sure. Yeah.
But yeah, with Deadpool, he's not part of a team unless he's blackmailed into it or pressed into.
Right. Yeah.
Iron Man's the other one. I was like, Iron Man's he's like Batman. He's just a rich guy wearing a suit.
Yeah.
But I guess because he has
and like that was before the
modular-
whole agentic AI came in, right? So you can see the point. Like, he did something extra, like beyond his means.
Totally.
Yeah, and the suit gets all the attention, but you're right, invents the AI.
Yeah, he
The
invents
AI
it,
is
right?
the-
So he gets the points. Yeah.
Totally. I love that answer. Okay, number 3. You've had a tough day and you need a reset. Are you going to the gym with headphones on or going on a hike and reconnecting with nature?
Yeah, like Jack said, right? California, I could do either and be distressed, but I think gym, it's just like my happy place. Like, that's where I want to go and forget about what's going on, and like also a little bit of progress, right? I like weightlifting, so I do kind of see what my RPM was yesterday and what I could do tomorrow. So
Do you try to go same time every day, or do you change it up?
I try. Yeah. I try to go in the mornings also because I have a toddler. Life gets busy after that, dropping, daycare, this, and then you have work.
If you don't do it, it doesn't get done.
Exactly,
So just make the routine around doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. I think I've even just getting outside I've tried to do.
Yeah.
But working out at least I can know I can do it.
Yeah.
Right, if I do it. But I do try. Sometimes I still work in an office, right? I'm not work from home. I work in an office building. And once or twice a day, if I get frustrated, I will go outside and I will do a loop outside
That's good.
of the
I
building just to get some air.
Yeah.
And that can sometimes reset me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that or eat something. That sometimes is good too. Yeah.
Absolutely.
We're all just toddlers, really.
I know, right? Oh my God, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Basic
We're all that.
Basic needs.
Exactly.
Have you eaten something? Do you need a nap?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Checklist for a good night.
Exactly. Number 4, when you travel to a new country, are you the everything is booked, full itinerary planned person, or the land and figure it out person?
Yeah, full itinerary planned person. I like to plan, but I think I'm changing a little bit. So my husband is the opposite. We've been together about 15 years, but we only got married like 6 years ago. So, and we were long distance, so the way we would meet is through vacations, right? Like, we would meet in a place together and spend like 2 weeks together and do that again a couple of months later. So I think we had to match each other's like vacation styles a little bit. So he became a little more, okay, let's be a little planned, and I became a little like, okay, there's a little bit of room for the impulsive decisions is good. So now if I have to plan a day, instead of planning like 3 things, I'll plan like maybe 1 or maybe 2 and just be like, okay, afternoon is free for us to figure out what we want.
Oh, nice. Are you using AI in your personal life to plan these trips now?
I do, like not completely. I think again, like AI is only as smart as the kind of questions you ask it. So like, for example, we're planning a trip to maybe South America. So like, I have to give it exact instructions of like exactly what kinds, what do I want to do in a day. And then it is sometimes still dumb in figuring out you cannot do a 3-hour trip that way and then do another 2-hour that way on the same day. So, like those things you still have to kind of, puppet
It was good for like stuff like if I'm going to go to a restaurant, and what I would have done was just look at reviews.
Yeah.
And I was just going to look at reviews myself. Okay, AI can do that for me.
Yeah.
Right, but it's hard to string things together and know about transitions between the two. It's another level of just...
Agreed. Yeah, when there's like layers of decision making, right? Like one thing doesn't give you the right answer. It's like this, but that, and if, and then, and else. then AI doesn't quite understand.
I've heard of people using the agentic stuff to actually go out and make reservations, and I just makes me nervous. You have to be pretty low stakes.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to have it in my credit card quite yet.
No, I'm not ready for that yet.
Yeah, just make a phone call, pretend you're me, make reservations. Maybe try that in your home city before you go out and try that, right?
Yeah.
In another country.
Yeah. All right, last question. If Airbnb came to you and said, we are studying happiness, and you have to pick one place in the world that becomes your remote work base for a whole month, we'll call it your happy place. Where are you choosing and why?
Yeah, I actually, there's a lot of places. I think it's such a beautiful world. No matter where you go, it's like something new to see and eat, and the culture is great. But if I had to choose one, I like mountains. And of course, I think an easy answer would be Switzerland, but that's not my answer. My answer is Leh Ladakh. I'm not sure if you know or if the audience knows. So it is essentially a Himalayan town in India. It is a high altitude, cold weather desert. And it has a very Tibetan and Buddhist culture. So it is one of the best places on this entire, and I've traveled a lot to Europe, to where not. It's one of the best, not just because of the beauty. I mean, beauty is, of course, Himalayan beauty, and then you have the Swiss Alps. Both of them are beautiful. So it is beautiful. It is like 11,000 feet, and then it has a lot of mountain passes, so you can go to even higher mountain passes. But I think what I personally like is just the culture. And also, like, it feels like it's very cut off from the world, but it still has the warmth of my country, like the Indian hospitality. It has the warm food and the coziness that I grew up with. So a little bit of familiarity for me, but it's also a beautiful mountain town with not a lot going on, so you can just relax.
Yes. Yeah, that's beautiful. I love it.
Thank you.
So what do you think, Jack? Does Mudita have what it takes to join our fantasy cybersecurity?
Yes, you do. You can have two roles. Right, you can be a tech lead. You can do your real role for us, but also you can help us plan our trips. And
okay, I'm the agent.
Cool places. You can help us. Yeah, you can have agents working for you.
Perfect.
But you also need to help us with our travels.
Makes sense.
Mudita, thank you for joining us. If our viewers want to connect with you, what's a way that they can do that?
I think you can find me on LinkedIn. That would be the best way, is to just find me on LinkedIn. And there's not a lot of Mudita Khuranas, especially no other at Airbnb, so it should be straightforward.
Excellent. All right, well, that brings us to the end of the show. Thank you to Tampa B-Sides for having us here at their event in Tampa at USF, and also thank you to ThreatLocker, our presenting sponsor. So for the entire No Password Required team, I'm Jack Clabby, and we'll talk again soon.
Thanks for listening to the No Password Required podcast, presented by ThreatLocker. No Password Required is produced by Cyber Florida, and a special shout out goes to our friends at Carlton Fields and Reality Shift. For more content, follow us on social media at NoPasswordPod, and visit our website at cyberflorida.org/pod.